Everyone, welcome to a slightly delayed edition of the Before Reaction Show. If you like drama more than you like tonight's action, and hey, we're Letron.com co-founder Robert Johnson welcoming you to the show. We've got Weldon, John, and Eugene. Can you guys hear me? You guys look like you're disturbed. Okay, good. Sorry. I don't know where to begin, so let me just go off the top of my head. Athing Mu has fallen in the women's 800, folks. I've, in my entire life, wanted to see, reminded people, probably for the last decade, that the rule books allow for the race to be rerun if someone goes down. I've never seen it. I said I hope to see it before I die. Having seen that, I was going to say, I don't ever want to see, no, I want to see it. I want to see this race be rerun. But in her absence, Nia Akins has dominated the field. Allie Wilson, who looked great in the prelims, has made the team, as has, I don't even remember who the third member was now, John. Somebody remind me. I was just so stunned by Athing Mu falling.
The NCAA champion Juliette Whitaker, who I said coming into the meet could run 158 and did run 158 and made the team. I mean, Robert, this event is officially cursed. 2016, final turn, Alicia Montano falls down. Absolute madness. Kate Grace wins the race. 5 years later, 2021, Nia Akins falls down. Athing Mu wins the race. 2024, this was Fast Women pointing this out on Twitter. 2021, Akins falls, Mu wins the race. 2024, Mu falls, Akins wins the race. So this is the third straight trials where significant in the final, but where someone has gone down and it has likely affected the outcome of the race. I mean, it's so frustrating for these athletes. I mean, Athing Mu, you could just see she crossed the finish line in tears. Her Olympic dream is shattered. She's not entered in the 1500. She's not entered in the 400. This was it for her. And she's already an Olympic champion, but she's going to have to wait another 4 years to get another chance to win another gold. I mean, it's just devastating. There's no other way to say it.
I mean, LA is going to be the ultimate. It's so crazy that I'm already thinking of LA. It's like the ultimate redemption story. But that just shows that usually it's the beauty of the Olympic trials, but the horror of the Olympic trials. Like, that's why this is one of the greatest track meets in the world. It's so damn unfortunate. I mean, there's question marks whether she would have made this, you know, her fitness anyway, but like, nobody wants her to go out like that. It's just, you just see it happen, and you're just, the crowd for the first time, right? To their feet. I had not seen them to their feet. Well, maybe I'd been noticing, but everyone stood up and just tried to cheer her on. But you lose 2 seconds or more in momentum. I mean, it was ball game over.
No, if this was for Athing Mu, maybe. But this wasn't prime Athing Mu, and you could just tell with 200 to go, she just knew she wasn't closing that gap. She ended up jogging it in. I mean, it's terrible. You never want to see this in trials, and now we've seen it 3 straight times in this event. It just sucks.
But is anyone flexing their muscles? Max Siegel doing anything? You guys act like this is over.
Robert,
I want to have
come
this race
on.
rerun.
No one even knows that a rule exists except for us. We've talked about it all the time. So that's it.
But Robert, this wasn't a foul. This wasn't a foul. It was bad luck.
Yeah.
If there was a foul, if she was clearly fouled, then you would consider doing it. But this is just like shit happens, and unfortunately, it happened in one of the biggest races.
Okay, it's not going to be rerun, but man, we don't even know what would have happened. Did anyone talk to her? Do we know how much she's been running? What kind of fitness she's in? It happened so soon. It was how far into the race was it when she fell?
Oh, 200. They cut in, and it looked like she was trying to get to the front. And Athing Mu, what does she always say? She doesn't like to run right on the rail because she has long limbs, long stride. She's worried about getting tangled up. She likes to give people room on the inside. She doesn't like to be right on the rail. This one, it looked like she looked away for a second. Instead of looking straight at the track, she kind of looked to the side. I don't know if that really had any impact because it looked like it might have been Rogers who clipped her from behind or Whitaker from the side, but it was just that. She was down, and it threw off a couple other runners. Sage Hodeklecka said she was just angry after the result because she finished 5th, and she was like, I had to step on the infield. It threw off my race. I was never really able to get back that ground. So it definitely impacted the race. I don't think after Mu, I don't think anyone was beating Akins today, but could these other women, it affected almost everyone in some way.
No, not almost everyone. No, it definitely affected Sage Hurley Clocker in a major way. But let's look to the results. Nia Akins, 157.36 PB, dominant victory. I was extremely confident she was going to make the team coming into the trials. I didn't think she looked that great in these other rounds. I thought maybe she was holding back yesterday. Weldon mocked me at that. She might have been. She was spectacular. Took the lead, between 500 and 600 and just dominated. Wins by almost a full second. Allie Wilson, who looked so good yesterday. I was like, oh, what's she doing? I was kind of expecting more early. She waited. She measured this race perfectly. Fourth at 600, fourth at 700, second at 800, 158.32, seasonal best. And then Juliet Whitaker runs the big PB, the college star, 148.45. I like Michaela Rose, but she just reminds me of the speed demon with no endurance. I want her to make it. She's always leading, first, takes it out in 57.68. Has the lead through 500, second at 700, but you can see the fade coming, 159.32. Nobody else broke two. Nobody else, to me, really had much of an excuse here, except for Sage Hurley Clocker, who was fifth. She was on the infield, had to jump over Mu, went into the infield, definitely lost a lot of momentum. Was it 2 seconds of momentum? I don't think it was, to be honest. Raven Rogers, complete non-factor, 201.12. Kate Grace, amazing yesterday. I don't know if that took something out of her. I don't see if she was done in the fall. I didn't see that much of her, but just devastating. I mean, this is the drama of the trials, and I can see why Olympics people, because to me, I was wondering, like, why do they have this race last? Why don't they run men's 1500? But for that casual viewer and watching this whole thing on NBC, which I don't normally do, they play up the Olympic champions. And Mu was a big star. So I can see why, like, World Athletics or NBC wants her in the Olympics. But to me, this is better. It should just be top 3 go, period. No rankings, none of this nonsense. It should be quota reallocation. The drama, it's terrible for Athing Mu, but it's what makes the Olympics so special. And just placing people in the Olympics does not work. But, we've got 3 first-time Olympians in the women's 800. Congratulate them. All right, men's 1500. There was 2 other distance finals today. Men's 1500 and the women's 5,000. 5,000. Men's 1500. We had the anticipated matchup: Hocker, Nuguse, Kessler, Tier, Wascom, Henry Wynn. Who am I missing? So many people.
Vincent Ciotti.
Vincent Ciotti, exactly. Before the race, I went to the homepage this morning and I started a new poll. I wanted to know what people were thinking, ahead of time. After all the prelims, who do we think was going to win? And, who wins? Thousands of votes. Cole Hocker, Yared, Nuguse. Final votes, 59% for Nuguse, 35% for Hocker, 6% for other. I laughed at anyone that put other. I mean, come on. It was not going to be anyone named other. And then who
Robert,
gets...
That's interesting because in stadium they did voting as well. It was about 2-1 Nuguse to Hocker. But we had the Let'sRun.com supporters club meetup. We polled people there. These are the hardest core of the track fans. 2-1 for Hocker over Nuguse. That was proven to be the case. So if you're watching this live on the YouTube right now, go to Let'sRun.com/subscribe. If you want this as a podcast every day, we want it to stay up late to watch. And you'll get this as a podcast. We have daily podcasts from the trials. And man, what a race. Let's go through this race because
you'll get all of our content. You'll get a free t-shirt. Let'sRun.com/subscribe. And while you're listening to this, go to betterrunningshoes.com. That's our shoe review site. It's been updated with pricing. It's really amazing. Betterrunningshoes.com. And hey, if you're having trouble watching the highlights on the homepage, use the VPN we use, NordVPN. Go to nordvpn.com/letsrun, nordvpn.com/letsrun, and get the VPN that we do. You can watch these races on NBC on YouTube. All right.
Well, if we're showing for money, I think there's a way to pay on the chat, Robert. If anyone puts $20 in the chat, you'll go to Jonathan Galt. We'll put your comments up, guaranteed.
Okay, now the race itself, I think the reason so many Supporters Club members at the meetup this afternoon were picking Hocker was for this exact scenario. They thought Nuguse is probably going to take it out. Hocker's going to sit on him, and he's going to move by him because he's got this amazing kick at the end. And I don't think people thought it was going to be a 3:30 race, but it kind of shaped like I thought Nuguse would go to the lead. Kessler thought Nuguse would go to the lead. Hocker thought Nuguse would go to the lead. That's what happens. He takes it out in 56.3, pretty quick. Then 58.99 backs off a little bit, but then a 56.03 third 400, and then closes in 39. They don't have Hocker's closing split, but it had to be a little faster because he moved with 2:50 to go. But it was essentially, this is what the Rojo game plan that we drew up a couple weeks ago for Nuguse. You say, okay, what's your safest path to the Olympic team? Make it a fast race. There are not 3:30 guys in this race with you today. So go out there. I didn't think he would go that hard. I mean, 3:30 from the front, really impressive run by him. And it did leave him a little bit more vulnerable to having someone come behind because he was breaking the win for most of the race. But he got on the team safe and sound. His spot was really never in doubt. And now he can focus about, going for the win in Paris. But he did his job.
I don't agree that it was never in doubt. I'm watching the race with my wife and my 6-year-old. My wife's got good instinct. She's not biased by these people's past accolades. She kept saying, that guy in the front doesn't look great to me. She said, the guy in the front didn't look great to me. And briefly there, with somewhere on the final turn, I thought, oh my God, are we having a Steve Holman type situation here from 1996 trials? And then
Robert just loves comparing Steve Holman to Yared Nuguse for some reason. I still don't understand why.
All right. The Miles and Smiles podcast, they haven't given us $20. They've given us $5. We, Joe, Rojo, and Jonathan, thank you for being the best media in the athletics industry. What is your best advice to live a happy and healthy life?
You're supposed to put that on their screen.
Oh, sorry. There we go, folks.
Everybody watch that podcast. We'll have to start my new favorite podcast, obviously.
So let's get back to the race here, Robert.
No, I got to answer this question. My wife told my 6-year-old, son, when you grow up, hopefully you can find a job like your dad that he really loves to do. Find a job. It's hard to find a job that we love to do, and this is one. So that'd be one. Find a great partner. That would be, I would say, I think family's important. If you're debating whether you want to have kids, you need to have them if you can. But anyways, so back to this race. It was kind of interesting. So, you talked about Nuguse leading through the first 1,200. Hocker was sitting basically the whole race next to Vincent Ciotti. Ciotti was on the rail. Hocker was on the outside of lane 1. And right at 1,200, he makes his move to the front. He gets about halfway through, about 1,250. He gets next to Nuguse. Nuguse tried to hold him off. He couldn't. Hocker gets the lead. And then coming into the final 100, Hocker had a few meters on Nuguse, who had a few meters on Kessler, who had a few meters on Ciotti, and that was pretty much the 4. And then pretty shortly thereafter, it became clear to me, okay, Nuguse and Hocker are safe. Hocker and Nuguse are safe. Who's going to get third? And Ciotti got pretty close to Kessler, but never quite got there. And then, in the last, I was wondering if Kessler was not going to lean at the line, but then he kind of pulled away and then leaned and, won fairly comfortably. And Nuguse did gain a little bit on Hocker in that last 100. And originally on our flash recap, the interns and I put he never looked back. No, he did look back. Hocker twice glanced over his shoulder right near the finish, but he won pretty comfortably. New trials record 3:30. So if you want the actual times, 3:30.59 for Hocker, 3:30.86 for Nuguse, 3:31.53 for Kessler, which is a PB, 3:31.78. Vincent Ciotti, Under Armour Dark Sky. John, is Stephen Haas his coach?
Yes, that's right. That group is having a heck of a year. They got Wilkinson on the team. They got 2 athletes on the Kenyan team. I mean, they've had a pretty big season, Robert.
They're killing it. And that's a name has anyone mentioned Vincent Ciotti's name all week?
No.
Not once. And he dropped a 3:31 in the finals of the 1,500. This was a 3-second PR for him. As he said, it's just, I think, almost 3 seconds faster than the old trials record. He doesn't make the team. He just sort of said, he's like, I knew I had a 3. He's like, I thought I could run 3:30. I think is what he said. He's like, I knew I could run this fast, but I thought I'd make the team. So,
in case you don't even know who Ciotti is, he had the best mid-distance coach in collegiate track and field, Ben Thomas, that was when Ben was at Virginia Tech. Then went to Oregon, coached the Tier and Hocker there, and then is now back at Virginia Tech. But he was the NCAA runner-up in the 1,500, actually, in Eugene, 2018. I kind of forgotten this. John, this is why we have Jonathan Galt on our staff. John, I want you to tell me, without looking it up, who won the 2018 NCAA Final 1,500
Outdoors
championship. Yeah.
Outdoor 1,500?
Give me the top 3.
Ollie Hoare first, Vincent Ciardi. No, sorry, 2018. Yeah, Ollie Hoare first, Vincent Ciardi second. Josh Kerr was third maybe. And I'm trying to think. Engels wasn't in college. I don't know who was fourth.
No, it's all we needed to go is top three. So this guy Ciardi beat Josh Kerr back in 2018.
Whatever happened to Josh Kerr?
I don't know. What's that guy up to these days?
He moved back to
He's got a food blog and a chef, right?
He's got a great Instagram. A lot of thirst traps on the Instagram these days.
But it was kind of interesting because the interns point out, this is why the 1500 is the best event in track and field. Nuguse is setting the pace hard, but at 1200 meters, everybody in the field, 1 through 12, you'll never see this in a women's 1500 at this level right now. We're probably 10 or 20 years away from it. Everybody was right there. I mean, 12th place was Nuguse was 251.33, and 12th place was 252.96. So everybody was within like 1.7 seconds of the lead. And then it's just all about what happens in the last 300. 52 for the final 400. And the question is Hocker now a potential medalist? I mean, he dusted the guy. I wouldn't say dusted, but he beat the guy that we all thought was the third best miler in the world. And
Robert, the answer is obviously yes. I mean, look at this race. This was a carbon copy of the last two World Championship finals, except they ran 1 second slower. This was a 3:30 race, and the Worlds in 2022 and 2023 were 3:29 races. But look at how it played out. We had Yared Nuguse playing the role of Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and we had Cole Hocke'rs playing the role of Josh Kerr. And Nuguse set the pace. He couldn't drop him. And then Hocker's big takeaway is like, look, I've run fast races before, but I've never been able to shift gears and move in a fast race like that. In the past, he was kind of just holding on. If you look at the World Championship final last year or the Olympic final in 2021, this time around, he was hanging on, and then he shifted gears and was able to separate. That is how you win a world title. That's what happened the last 2 years with Kerr and Whiteman. And Hocker, I mean, Josh Kerr is in such good form this year that it's going to be very, very tough, but he's in the medal mix. Absolutely.
And wait, one thing I wanted to say is like, we're debating whether like this was a safer strategy for Nuguse to make the team, but also if he goes, but also it's the best way for him to actually win the race.
That's what he said. That's what he said in the mix zone. Yeah.
It was both. If he goes out, what you think a 3:34 race benefits him? No way. That puts him into. He's more likely to lose and not make the team. I think this race, if you told me beforehand, is he guarantee he wins it? I'm like, if he can run about 3:30, he probably wins it. And that's what happened, right? I mean, he couldn't run at 3:30.
Nuguse has a good close as well, but I'm trying to he closed in 25-2 at World Indoors in the 3K. He was just a little further back. So I do think if the roles are reversed and he's sitting on Hocker, he might have a shot there. But I think Cole Hocker wanted to lead this thing the way Nuguse did. I think he trusts his kick a little bit more. So it would have, that was Nuguse's. He said he led it because he thought that was his best chance of winning, not just to make the team.
And then Vincent Ciardi said he had to tip a cap to everybody because, I mean, the cream rose to the crop. He said, look, these three guys are really good. They all got medals at World Indoors. On paper, they were the best, and they showed it.
I think this is probably the strongest 1,500-meter team the United States has ever sent to the Olympics. 1 through 3. I think Hobbs Kessler, I'm trying to think, Hobbs Kessler is probably the best third placer at the Olympic trials ever, right? He's better than 2021 Yared Nuguse. I'm thinking back to previous years. This is, I would say, anyone in the comments can think of a stronger team. I have to think this is the best team they've sent.
1924, John. Jimmy Stallone alone.
Oh, yeah. Back
when
the United States was the only country that entered teams in the Olympics. So, yeah. No, but this was a heck of a team, hard team to make. I mean, look at all the guys. Nathan Green ran 3:32 in fifth. I mean, do you count that as a collegiate record?
This was a cool thing, and he's coming back to Washington next year, I think.
Yeah.
This is interesting, Robert. He talked about how that guy bombed at defending champion NCAAs, bombed at NCAAs this year, and said he trusts the people who got him here and the sort of camaraderie with the Wash guys. And he said there was a point today in the race, Joe Wascom paused him out. Let him out of a box. He's like, no one else would do that. We're like brothers. He essentially gave him essentially almost in theory, you would have said, "Oh, you're gonna run 3:32." He probably said, "Okay, I'll take it. I might make the Olympics."
He was very, very proud of finishing 5th. He was not bummed at all about missing out. He was like, I ran a great race, didn't have a good NCAAs. It's been an up and down season. He basically said he did some dumb shit, I think was the phrase he used. Is he's a 21-year-old, and he's just like, I did some stupid 21-year-old stuff. But
Look,
he got past it and ran a great race today.
My thing is Kerr? I'm already thinking at the Olympics. Is Kerr going to take the lead too early, essentially? Like, is everyone going to not want to have the lead? Or is Jakob still going to have the ego to think he can run away from all these guys?
Oh, I
Okay,
think so. But Robert, you want a point you've been itching to make.
thank you. Just because I'm not in Eugene, I'm not allowed to make an analysis point according to Weldon. Look, in terms of these races, yes, it's a collegiate record for Nathan Green. Someone asked that on the message board. There's no such thing as a technical official collegiate record, but our rule at Let's Run is, as long as you come back to college, collegiate record. He was representing Washington in this race, so he's not a senior. So I don't count it. We stop at senior year of your NCAAs, final NCAAs. That's it. But 3:32:20, big PB, and this just reminded me. Like, I think he's going to be the best of these Washington guys. Like last year, John, when I was in Austin, we're talking to the guys. They almost all said, "Oh, he's the most talented. He barely runs." And I think we're seeing that. Henry Wynn, I expected a lot from him. He also ran a PB. I mean, everyone 3 through 8 in this race. So basically, everyone but Hocker and Nuguse ran a PB because the pacing was so good. And then
Cole Hocker ran a PB, Robert.
Oh yeah. So everybody except for Nuguse ran a PB. I didn't realize that was a PB for Hocker. And then, even Cook and a few things that disappointments. Cooper Tier was just a complete non-factor in this. 3:35:17. He was 8 to 1200, just never a factor. I mean, he was trying to run behind Nuguse, and I was like, I didn't like his positioning. I'm like, he's on the outside of lane 1. I'm like, I'm not sure he's good enough to get away with running extra distance like Hocker is, like Kessler is, but not a good race for him at all. Craig Ingles, seasonal best, 3:34:21. I think Ingles and Tier are. We'll see if Tier. I guess Tier can make it in the 5,000. We'll see if those guys are as motivated. If a Kincaid, a Fisher, etc. But I'm afraid that Tier might end up being like Craig Ingles, really good, but never on an Olympic team.
Yeah, by the way, Cole Hocke'rs said he's coming back for the 5K. He said he's done a lot more strength training this year. He's done more 5K training. I was wondering if that was to get better at the 15 because of the way the event's going, but it's because he also wants to be able to run the 5K at these championships. So this 5K is going to be great. Cole Hocker against Grant Fisher, the US 15 champ against the 5K champ against the 10K champ in the 5K next week. That's going to be fun, huh?
And Kincaid. Oh my God.
And Abdi Noor and Cooper Tier in there.
What about Nuguse?
He said absolutely not.
No, I think Nuguse, if Nuguse doesn't medal this year, I think his best shot in the medal might be in the 5,000, which sounds crazy. He's a 3:43 miler, but wouldn't he be unbeatable in a 5,000? Like,
no,
I'm not
we
sure
say this all the time. Oh, these guys move up. They would be unbeatable. No, because
Jakob is.
Okay, but Jakob's a freak. Like, Jakob's also better than Yared.
Okay, but there's a Bravo Roger on YouTube says, I actually think this changes Kerr's race plan a bit. Is Hocker? So let's talk about Worlds. Is Hocker the favorite if they go through 700 and 142 or slower? Well, there's no chance that it goes 142 or slower Worlds, so that's just not going to happen. But would he be the favorite? No. Why would Kerr be afraid of Hocker's kick? Kerr's faster at 800. He's got a sick kick himself. So I don't think Kerr's worried about Cole Hocker's kick.
No, they raced against each other in the Prefontaine Classic in a 3:45 race. Kerr was right there and still able to move. Hocker was left in the dust. And maybe, look, if you're Cole Hocker, your best strategy is to basically, stalk Kerr, and then when he moves, hope you've got another move left in reserve. But I think the pace is going to be too fast. And that's just too difficult to do. I think Kerr's got a sick kick, but, crazy things do happen in the Olympics. So, I don't know. It's going to be fascinating, but the question, Cole Hocker, this is a 3:30 race, and he was still able to kick really well. And he said he felt in control. But if the Olympics is a 3:28, 3:29 race, is he still going to be able to do it?
He didn't look in control. Nuguse was gaining on him at the end. So I don't want to say he had a lot more in the tank. But I looked up, first of all, if it's slow, that plays into Whiteman's hands. Like, we think Hocker's kick, and it's weird. I went back and forth on this. After watching other races, I originally picked Nuguse to win this race in the Better Running Shoes.com prediction contest. But watching the prelims, I'm like, Hocker's going to win. How can he run away from this? But John, what I did was what we've talked about on the podcast. I said, all right, how much faster was Nuguse than Hocker at the Prefontaine Classic? Because we say you need to be 2 to 3 seconds faster than someone to be able to outkick them if you're leading the whole thing. So I looked it up. He was like 2.7 seconds ahead at Pre. So I don't know if that was a bad race for Hocker or what, but that would concern me. If you're a Jakob Ingebrigtsen fan, I think this has got to concern you people. Or it may also make you appreciate Ingebrigtsen. Like, you have to be so much better than someone to lead. Well, I guess Ingebrigtsen's not normally leading and winning them, though unrabbited. It just shows you have to be so much better to do all the work and win, because 2.7 seconds at Pre did not result in a victory today. So was the number we came up with 2.5, John? Maybe it's 3.
Oh, I thought it was more like 1.5 or 2. I was looking at season's best because Timothy Chariot did do this in the 2019 Worlds Final, and I think he was consistently winning by like 1.5 to 2 seconds on the Diamond League. But that is a good point, Robert. I mean, yeah, I guess the question is, like, do you think Hocker has surpassed Nuguse just based on this one victory, or are you still saying like Nuguse? All right, who has a better chance of winning the Olympics? Who has a better chance of medaling at the Olympics? That's my question to you.
I mean, if you put it in 2016 races, I'm going with Hocker. If it was a traditional, if Jakob was in the race, it would be no hesitation to me. Hocker would be a better championship runner. But with Jakob as being an unofficial rabbit, it plays more into a time trial type race, which Nuguse is better at. So I think the better odds.
Any race over 3:30, I'm taking Hocker for sure. If somehow like they drag it out and it's like 3:28 race, well, I don't know. I guess Hocker got paced today to 3. The only question mark about Hocker is like, what does he do in a 3:28 race? But this wasn't that far off from that. But I know Nuguse probably, if Nuguse isn't leading, he gets dragged to 3:28 today. So yeah, I guess there is the downside of a couple seconds to leading. So I guess the only question for Hocker is like, what happens if it's ridiculously fast? But he's going to have people dragging him. I don't think Cole Hocke'rs should not lead one single step of the Olympic final unless it's the final 50 meters.
He's not going to. But I think I'm impressed by Hocker. Last year he had that late start to the season. He missed some training. Like, I was watching that because I made that at the start of the year. I'm like, oh, Cole Hocker was going to medal because he's been so good when he's so young in 2021. And it's kind of injuries screwed his season in 2022. Got a late start in 2023. This year he's had no interruptions. He went to altitude for the first time to get a training block in there. He's been doing more endurance training, and he's just been sensational. So very excited to see what he's doing. I mean, it's incredible. Cole Hocker is 23 years old. He's already won 2 U.S. Olympic trials in the 1500. I mean, this guy's incredible, and Nuguse is incredible too. And he's only, he's a couple of years older.
But the fact that he's running the 5,000 is terrible, terrible news for people like Cooper Tier, because in a championship 5,000, there's not a rabbit. If it's rabbited, I think Tier beats Hocker. We saw that in LA. But if it's not rabbited, good luck I don't see how Tier beats him.
Do we really think he'll win the 5K at the Olympics?
And the 3,000.
He seems like he wanted to do it.
Why wouldn't he?
If the 1500's first, right?
Oh yeah, it is.
So he basically was like, look, I started doing more 5K training because I want to run the 5K more, and I wasn't able to do it because of the injuries the last couple of years. But I think the fascinating scenario would be, though, what if
he gets top 3
and Tier's fourth? Then what do you do?
Ruin the friendship, or does he have to give up the spot?
I think if you want to run the 5K, you run the 5K. I'm sorry, you earn the spot. Like
no, you give it up. I give it up for Weldon. Weldon would not give it up for me.
That's because you're an identical twin, and we grow up thinking about someone else all the time. It's weird.
I mean, you don't think Cole Hocker would go into that thinking like, I might have a shot at a medal in the 5K? I guess we have to see how the 5K goes at Worlds. He kind of got dusted in that LA race by the top guys, but is that going to be the same kind of race? Is it going to be a sub-13 race at the World Championships?
It doesn't matter. He's going to get dropped in that race. His endurance is not good enough to hang with those guys. Anyways,
we haven't even mentioned the women's 5,000 meters. And at some point, we're going to have to jump out of here because we don't know what's going on. Good thing we didn't have our special guests today. Because
by the way, if you're looking for the special guest, it didn't work out. I apologize for hyping a special guest that did not show up. But
He'll be
anyways,
joining us tomorrow.
look, someone says that Hocker wants it more, and that is what showed today. Hocker, I will say this. He's 3-11 lifetime against Nuguse, but the 3 wins are the 3 biggest races. NCAs, and then the 2 Olympic trials. So the rabbited races on the circuit are not the same. We're learning here. Nuguse is learning that the rabbited races on the circuit are not the same thing as unrabbited championship races against Cole Hocke'rs. So Cole Hocke'rs is the Josh Kerr, Jake Whiteman of the USA, and Yared Nuguse is the Jakob Ingebrigtsen of USA. So there you go. All right, women's 5,000. Haven't even mentioned it, but it was very clear to me after watching the prelims what was going to happen, and it happened exactly the way I thought.
I mean,
the top 3, the big 3 of Ellie St. Pierre, Elise Cranny, and Carissa Schweizer, they sat on Valby. Valby did all of the work. She led from the very first step all the way to, let's see here, basically 800 meters to go, I think, if I'm recalling correctly. And that's when Ellie St. Pierre took over, and they dusted her. Valby tried to go with them, but really didn't do a good job of it. I mean, she fought hard, but was dropped. It was pretty clear that this one's over. Then it ended up being a great race for the win. Ellie St. Pierre wins by 0.02, 14:40.34, trials record to Cranny's 14:40.36. Carissa Schweizer comfortable third in 14:45.12. Valby gets a PB, actually gets the Olympic standard 14:51.44, but not on the team. And behind them, it was kind of disappointing if you're an NC State alum or a Josette Andrews fan. Josette Andrews is 11th, Caitlin Toohey 12th, 15:26, 15:33. I guess does Ellie Hannes not even run the trials? She run. I don't even know if she was in there. She was in this race, but pretty much kind of what I expected. I guess, to be honest, I would have thought St. Pierre would beat Cranny by more than that. But, I think everybody, I don't see these women challenging for a medal at the Olympics, but it was, a good run. They're very good. They're some of the 3 best runners in U.S. history. That's for sure. But one of my biggest losers of this trial is Parker Valby. You guys heard me say it on the regular podcast last Tuesday. I said, Parker, your dad's trying to take over. Tom Ratcliffe, the agent, negotiated your NIL. Your dad's going for $750,000, $800,000 minimum. I'm like, do not set foot on that track without a signed deal if you're going pro, because unless you're going to step up to the pros, you're going to find out, hey, there's a big gap between these top pros. I guess because these women are pretty far off from medaling in the 5 and the 10, and then there's Valby. So there's a big gap. It was a risky move, and I think that the shoe companies, they're probably like, no, we're not going to pay you that much. And then they're like, okay, we're not going to pay you that much. So maybe they're offered, if she had made this team, maybe they'd have to go up to get her, and maybe they're just not going to do that. So financially, she may have lost. I think she's great. She's had one of the best collegiate seasons ever. The first person to ever win 5 distance titles in a year. I think that everyone thinks she should go pro. She makes good NIL money. Why not just go back to Florida? She loves it. Do another year. Do what makes you happy. Of course, she still got the 10. And I think there's some chance she makes the team in the 10. All right. People are saying she'll be unbeatable. Listen. Lena Gorgeous has said this. I don't think Parker, she might be unbeatable at the U.S. level. I don't think so. But she's not going to be unbeatable at the pro level. No U.S. woman has ever medaled in the 5,000 on the global level. And we've only got a couple in the 10. And, it's just, people don't realize how rare it is, to win these things. Matthew Centrowitz is the only American to win a gold medal in the 800 and above on the track in 60 years, more than 60 years, right? We got to go back to 64 for the last gold. Someone above 800 meters in the Olympics. So anyways, Um, I did not forget Athing Mu. Athing Mu is the 800-meter runner. So we've had a couple 800s, Dave Waddle and Athing Mu, and so I said 50 above 800 meters. Anyways, trying to think what else happened today. I'm not sure what happened to our guys in Eugene. We had there was drama in the women's discus. The world champion, Waluga Tasuga Collins, fouled out in 3 throws. She's out. So wasn't a good day for the U.S. women's gold medal hopes. Let's put it that way, with Mo and her going out. Men's 110 hurdles. Grant Holloway runs the second fastest time of his life, 12:92. I'm kind of stunned that's the second fastest time of his life. I feel like he was going for the world record. He went out super hard. He looked super amazing to me. And I'm a huge Holloway fan. It was disappointing to me. Like the end of I know it's the second fastest time he's ever run, but his last 3 or 4 hurdles, it's the same problem we have every time. He slows down so much. And John thinks I'm crazy, but I'll say it again. If he does not win Olympic gold, he needs to change a coach. I've talked to a hurdle expert who told me, he's like, look, I used to coach a guy. He's the same problem as Holloway. I know exactly what drills he should do in practice, how to practice this. I could help him, but he didn't want to because he works with another athlete. So if Holloway doesn't win gold, I'm going to be devastated. So I will call this guy up and I'll say, like, look, man, can I approach Holloway on your behalf so you can figure this out? But good run for him. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope he just crushes it, gets the world record, gets the gold. Then he can be the greatest of all time. Wow, Vashti Cunningham did not win the women's high jumps, 191, but she does make the team. There's a tie for third. They're both in third. It says, doesn't make sense. Wait a minute. I don't think Cunningham would be third. They're both listed as third, but Cunningham had more misses of 188 than Jenna Rogers of Nebraska. Now, Jenna Rogers doesn't have the standard. Anyone know? Could Vashti Cunningham possibly miss out on the Olympics? That would be a bummer. Did they even cover that on TV? I wasn't paying attention if they did. Men's long jump. Jeremiah Davis of Florida State wins at 8:20. There was some drama at the end because 2 guys in the 6th round jumped 8:18. Malcolm Clemens of Florida and Jurian Lawson of Puma. They both edged Johnny Brackens by 1 centimeter. Oh my God! Like how upsetting is that? Your Brackens, you're in second. You're 3 centimeters from the lead, and then 2 guys beat you both by 1 centimeter. And you also had an 8:15 in the first round. So Brackens was probably like the best jumper on the day. Oh my God, he's going to be devastated. Southern Cal. So that was the field events. Anna Hall. Wins the decathlon 66-14 as expected. Cunningham won third on a jump off. Good to know. I'm not sure why it's a jump off. I always thought that they went back to who had the most misses at the previous height. They both had 1 miss previous to that, but Cunningham was at an earlier height. Anyways, Weldon and John looks like they're back here. Been updating everyone on the field events, guys.
Yeah, I can tell you're searching for content when you're talking about that. All right, we've spoken to Schweizer and John. Who are we talking to?
Release Cranny.
Nothing groundbreaking for me.
Not really. I mean, that race, we didn't really talk about it that much. That was about as predictable as I thought it was going to be. I expected Parker Valby to take it out. I expected that the 3 women who beat her were going to beat her, and I thought they were going to finish in that order. The only thing I didn't expect was that Cranny would run St. Pierre so tight in the home straight, but it shook out essentially as we thought. Like Valby made a valiant effort. She ran a PB. She ran 14:51 in the Olympic trials final after running 14:52 in the NCAA final, indoors and outdoors. Like we kind of knew that was going to be her game plan. That's probably her best chance. She doesn't have a huge kick, but I'm really impressive by her. But the other three women, they're just better and have a better kick than her. So I don't think there was really any scenario where.
John,
What was the weather at NCAA, John? Because it was 74 degrees today. Like sitting in the stands, not that hot, but it was 74.
It was sunny. Like it was it was impressive for her to run a PB in those conditions.
But what about NCAAs? What was the weather?
I think it was cooler, or later at night, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not later.
I'm glad you praised her, John. I did say she had one of the greatest seasons ever for a collegian, but I had gone off while y'all weren't up here. I said I think she lost. I mean, her dad wants this $800,000 a year, and the shoe companies are like, look, we're not convinced you're going to be a great pro. And all these people, I think all the fans that she has on the message board got a hard dose of reality here because she's a long way away from challenging a medal.
So was Caitlin Toohey, and she got paid tremendously. So
yeah, but Caitlin Toohey had not, had come off her amazing season. Well, I guess she got beat by Valby in 2023 NCAA cross, but she missed the team last year. I don't know. Valby's still going to get paid, and she's young. I think someone's going to pay her a lot because she's marketable and she's young and she's really fast. And you would say, hey, she has a couple of years to figure it out. The warning sign here is Cranny in college, she could kick. Schweizer could kick. Ellie St. Pierre was an NCAA mile champion. These women all had strong kicks in college. And Valby really hasn't shown that skill set. And if you want to be doing anything on the track, you kind of need to be able to do that. But then Alicia Monson, I didn't think of having a huge kick in college, and she turned into an American record holder in the 5 and the 10. So,
but Valby hasn't really had a kick.
Yeah, I agree. Robert really hasn't had a kick.
True.
By the way, folks, we're just crushing it. The over 1,000 live viewers. The people are like, has Let's Run broken? The website went down. If you're under the age of 30, you probably don't realize the message board used to go down all the time. That was like an exciting event. Like it was a big event, the website would crash, and that meant it was a big event. But we haven't seen traffic like this in a long time, according to our web guy. So, look,
that's a thing. People want to know the Athing Mu effect. You get a 4 in the Olympic trials.
I was going when Mo went down, and I just thought that like, oh my God, and then it just showed you how much. What's the guy's name, John? The announcer on NBC.
Lee Diffie.
Lee Diffie, like he doesn't know. I think Lee Diffie, everyone's been ripping him on the message board. I've enjoyed watching the broadcast for the most part. He doesn't, Kara Goucher, though, I actually lost it tonight. She didn't seem to understand that, like, Valby's got the standard, and she's like, oh, she's going for the standard. I'm like, no, she's got the ranking. She doesn't need the standard. She didn't seem to understand that. But, John, Lee Diffie's like, oh, can Mu catch up? And I was like, no, not 800.
Her name is Mo for the 18th time.
Yeah. But John, compliment to you. My wife's like, couldn't Jonathan Galt do this commentating? I think he could do a wonderful job.
No, I couldn't. I would be terrible at it. I'd be stumbling over my words. Absolutely not. I have a lot of respect for play-by-play announcers, the good ones. Lee Diffie does not stumble his words. Like, is he perfect? No, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, and he's good at, like, I think he's been fine. But I said to my wife, well, John wouldn't be confident enough. He's not a play-by-play guy. John, you need more confidence. I want you to go up to the hottest girl tonight and just say, hey, honey.
Okay, yeah, we knew Robert was going to get in something like that. I guess it's late on the East Coast. No, the problem, what I like being a writer is I can plan out my words ahead of time. I don't have to speak off the cuff all the time. And I guess I'm doing that on the podcast at the moment.
By the way, folks, those of you that come to you need to go to the website every day, read the articles. And John called me up in a panic. Like must have been 5 a.m. West Coast time. He's like, I thought he was like dying. I think he had a heart attack. Robert, I had major writer's block last night. It took me forever to finish the article. Can you read it over? The Shikari retrospective. I finally got it. And I was like, what a man of craft, John. You love your craft. Keep working hard.
I went to bed last night. Like I had a headache. My chest was pounding. And my chest was like tight. And I was like, I was like, am I stressing myself too hard? I got a good night's sleep last night, so I feel a lot better today. But this meet is a grind, and yeah, it's an intense meet for all of us, even those in the media circles.
All right, do you guys think that Athing Mu will get on the relay team along with Quincy Wilson?
Wilson, yes, because they can also have the mixed 4x4. He was 6th today, so yeah, I think he'll make it. It would be cool to have him on the team too. And then Athing Mu, probably not. I mean, would she want to go to Paris just to run the 4x4? I mean,
yes, you should.
Yes.
You should do it. Do it, please. Put her
Profile.
on a relay. I don't know what the
They
rules
should
are.
put her-
Just put her on it.
She
If
needs
she wants to
show
run,
some
you
fitness.
should add her on the team. I'll say that.
I mean, I wish she
No,
hadn't obviously fallen
not
because I
just
want
her
to know what her
PR,
fitness
John.
and
She's
story
got to
is.
run at least a 51, or under 51 for me to be a. You can't just put her
Well-
on because she's a star.
Yeah, no. Get in a meet the next. When do you have to name the team by? Get in a meet the next month. Run if she can run a sub 50. Put her on the team. A 50 low. I'm not. That's probably still enough given that she ran for 49.51 a few years ago. But
Should Athing Mu lead Bobby Kersey? I mean, he's not an 800-meter coach. She's now joined him and lost the world. I guess she did PR last year, but she did not win the gold last year. Now she's off the team.
no, that's a ridiculous take. She ran 154 in the Diamond League final last year. She ran a PB. She's been injured this year and she fell. This isn't the evidence you would use to say you need to dump your coach. If she had,
When people get injured under Jerry, they blame Jerry. So why
we
can't
don't
we
know
blame
how she
Kersey
got
for this
injured.
injury? Did y'all talk to her? How much has she been running? What's the scoop?
No.
We talked to her yesterday. She was very coy about it. She said the injury occurred in April. I said, when did you go back to running? And she said a couple weeks ago. But she had this mischievous smile on her face that suggested there was more to the story. I was hoping we would learn that today, but obviously, she didn't. I didn't even saw her come through the mix zone, and I don't blame her because she was in tears at the finish line. This is one of the most devastating moments of her life, I'm sure. So, yeah.
Now,
we
it's
didn't hear from her.
interesting. Joe Norton's got a good point. Any chance that she is a late entry into the 1500? Why wouldn't you enter the 1500?
I don't
Just
think
as a
she
safety
did.
net.
She's not entered, but this is like Nuguse entered the 5K. This is why we see these people double enter. Often you just enter the second event as a backup. And Mo didn't do that. She didn't enter a second event, and I think she probably wishes she could. I mean, it would be. Well, I think
If she wants-
if you're USATF and she says, "Hey, I want to run the 1500," do you just add her in?
Yes.
I would. Just
Yeah,
add one.
I agree with Weldon.
But
She
if you want
must
to be an
not have
Olympian,
entered
you're just trying to
because-
check the Olympian box, do the relay, and get a gold medal. So that's the solution for her.
Look,
She's
people
not a medal
are
for
debating whether
1500.
Parker Valby had the standard. People are saying she's ranked 49th. Like, I'm on the road to Paris list right now. She's right behind number 36. They take 42 in the event. So she would have been fine even if she hadn't got the standard. But she has the standard now.
And at some point, the media stuff's taking forever.
I
It's
didn't say the
crazy.
800-meter women still haven't come through the mix zone, which I don't understand what's going on.
I
And congrats
think
to
Mu must
winning
have
the
been
Nia
in terrible
Akins.
fitness.
Brooks
Like,
Beast,
I
her
think-
first U.S. Olympian. Congrats to Brooks Beast. I mean, seriously, like, it's not easy. Like, we're seeing breakthrough performances, and that group is just nailing it right now too. We're talking about Under Armour, but the Beast, Josh Kerr, Nia Akins.
Can you text, John, can you text Rich to see if he's going to protest to ask the race to be rerun? People are asking for the race to be rerun. You talked me out of it at the beginning of the show, but now the more I think about it, why not?
Why not? Because there wasn't any foul. It's just this thing. All right, first of all, I said the last two Olympic trials,
Oh, no
there
foul.
was a
There's no
fall in the
foul.
women's 800. Neither of them were
but
rerun.
John, there should have been when Montana got taken out with 100 meters to go, that should have been rerun.
I mean,
This one, the argument that there's no foul.
So it's gonna take someone like coming out of the stands and tackling someone.
I mean,
that's what
this is
do
why
now?
the rule. They need the
Maybe,
road you to write the
yeah.
rule book. I would have an automatic gun, and since it happened the first 200, you fire it again, you stop, and you do it again.
200 is.
They should have shot the gun off.
If it was 100, if there was 100 in, they wouldn't have done it either. They don't really do it at this level, but that would have been the solution if it was 100 in. 200 in, maybe, but oh man, then there'd be some complaints like this is favoritism when they've done it for someone else. Like I don't know.
Well, of
But-
course they wouldn't have done it for somebody else. This is a goddamn Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Since-
God, it's just that sucks. The Mo's not going to be in Paris. Like we wanted that Mo versus Hodgkinson versus Marat showdown. They always produce such exciting races. Just the idea that she's not going to be there in that
You know
event.
what?
Just
Do you think someone
sucks.
woke up Keely Hutchinson tonight, John? You think she knows this?
I would
is-
I would love to see what her reaction to this was.
But hey, big winner here is, I mean, obviously Keely and Mary Marat. But
And Nia Akins. Nia Akins can
No,
medal now. I would have
that's what I'm
said she
saying.
wouldn't have a chance
No,
to
that's
medal
what I was
now.
going to say. The biggest winner, obviously, to me, is Nia Akins. I think she's
Yeah.
the favorite for the bronze medal right now. I don't trust these other women. Like, what did Akins run tonight? 157 what?
157.3. She PR'd. I mean, Jemariki's pretty good, but I'd probably, Akins has got a very good shot, I would say.
I mean, I really wish she would come through here because yesterday in the semi, she was only second in her semi, right? Like, she didn't look that good. I want to know what was going on. Maybe she just like, I knew no one was going to pass me. Second was as good as first, but it's the one event where there's not a lot of room.
All right, finally,
I think we just see
Whitaker
Julia
entered the
Whitaker.
recovery tent, so she's probably going to be in the mix zone in about a minute.
I mean, how about that family? Hey. Her sister was a finalist in the 400. She makes the Olympic team in the 800.
And she's run a PB, so high school PB. She hadn't broken it in her first 2 years at Stanford until now. She got in the right race. World Under 20 champion. Oh, sorry, no. Roisin Willis was the World Under 20 champion. She was World Under 20 bronze in 2022. Now double NCAA champ and Olympian.
Should the Stanford coach, John?
JJ Clark has another Olympian in the 800 meters.
Exactly. Maybe Athing Mu should hire him. He's coached a lot of Clarks to the Olympics. Now he's coached someone not named Clark to the Olympics. But hey, Athing, if you need a new coach, I'm here. I haven't even talked to John Kellogg about this, but I know exactly how to coach her. Be very easy. Just barely do any endurance. If I'm going 4.8 though. We're not going 8:15. No.
You never coached 4 minutes in your life.
It's not true.
He's never coached a hurdler, and he wants to coach Grant Holloway, so it hasn't stopped him in the past.
So, all right, we've got a couple-day break, so we're gonna be off tomorrow and Wednesday. I guess we'll record the normal podcast.
Wait, Nia Akins is not coming through.
She's walking away from the.
I think that's a drug tester.
Why would they do that first?
She has to go to the bathroom, John. When you go.
Well, actually, okay. If that's the reason, that's
when you gotta go, you gotta go.
I can understand that.
She's the one I most want to speak to it with.
Yeah, well, actually, tomorrow we're thinking of doing a show because our special guest who's supposed to be on tonight might actually still be interested in coming on. So we're going to try to make that work the next couple of days. Maybe do some first half trials thoughts, big picture stuff, and maybe preview the second half. But yeah, I mean, it's been great. The last 2 nights of the trials were fantastic. Do we give Quincy Wilson credit for running another 44 seconds? Do you talk about the 400 at all?
No, that race was. It's kind of extremely disappointing to me in the sense of Michael Norman. I mean, he won his heat easily yesterday. It was like 45.4. Does he have another level? He went out super hard. He went out in 2090, totally rigged up. I thought, oh my God, he didn't make the team, but he did make it by 0.06. Quincy Hall wins in 44.17 PB. Michael Norman 44.41. Chris Bailey 44.42. Tracksmith. Matt Taylor, we love you. Walden's college buddy, founder of Tracksmith. They had a guy in a Tracksmith singlet make the Olympics.
Pretty amazing, right?
Yep. And my wife, when she's watching, she's like, there's Tracksmith everywhere. So, it's kind of interesting, looking down on this. Quincy Wilson, the high schooler, 44.94. Matthew Bowling. I mean, Matthew Bowling has lost more money because the NIL didn't exist. If NIL existed when he was coming out of high school, he would be a millionaire. He'd probably have $2 or $3 million in the bank. Instead, he couldn't make money. Went to Georgia and is now like running unattached in the Olympic trials. So, kind of crazy.
I spoke to Michael Norman. I was like, what happened? He said, just a horrible race. I screwed up. So he ran the backstretch too fast. So he'll be ready for the Olympics. And interesting, we were asking him about the Michael Johnson track league. It's crazy that these guys don't think it. I was like, well, what about the money? He was essentially, his take was, well, there's some structural issues. Like, I can't do anything that's going to get in the way of Worlds or the Olympics because that's what I get compensated for from Nike, essentially. Then I was like, well, what about the money of this, compared to Diamond League? And he goes, what's first? And I'm like, $100,000. He's like, yeah, for the series. I'm like, no, $100,000 for the race if you win it. And then he's like, oh. So they don't know the details. And my takeaway, then we talked to Emmanuel Hudson, the HSI agent. Obviously an agent, he's like, of course this is a good thing. Essentially saying $12 million extra into the sport. I'm like, what's coming to Diamond League? He's like, they'll have to raise their game. Like, so it's a $12 million. I'm like, what about the doubling? He's like, that's a technicality they can figure out.
It's not a technicality. The whole thing, I do not like it. It reminds me of the greed in college athletics.
Robert, what do you mean greed? What do you mean greed of college athletics?
I don't like college athletics. You and everybody else think it's fine that the
No.
Southwest Conference is gone and Texas is in
No,
the SEC.
Robert, what
and
do
all
you
the
mean?
power-
They're creating something new. They're putting $12 million in the sport. Where's the greed? Where's the greed? They're giving away $12 million with no guarantee of anything.
The greed? They're taking only the top 8 in the event get all the damn money. Everybody else is the field eventers. Everybody else is just screwed. All the
Robert,
older events are just
that's-
screwed. It's LIV
the top
golf.
8,
It's the same thing, and they make up the scoring system. Well, yeah, like so. Norman's got to run the 2 and the 4, but he's not going to race Warholm,
you know,
who's running the
there's huge
4.
problems with the doubling, whether that catches on with fans. Like you're gonna have 4
There's a lot
200s at
more
every race.
just because the meet, as he said, even Sydney said it. She's like, "Oh, people get to see me not be in shape in April." Well, then it's not a Grand Slam. If you're not in shape trying to win the first one, the only reason to try to be in shape to win the first one would be for the 100 grand. So it's not a Grand Slam. It's just a money grab. That's what it is. It's the perfect thing that we think that most people would think is fine for sports. Just pay people. Just pay the high schoolers. Just pay people as much as they can. I don't like.
Robert, four track meets that matter is better than 15 that don't. So they can work out the details. I just why not put more on a traditional track meet with $12 million of prize money, and figure out the TV stuff. I'm just not convinced they're
Because
doubling.
the greed, the
Robert,
investors want the money. Weldon, the investors want the money. It's not about these are people trying to
Robert,
get
the
rich off the track.
investors don't make any money unless this thing's viable. I've had a lot of people say this thing will go under within 1 year. After 1 year,
Yeah, I
it's
think
gone.
it will.
So
I think it
that's
will.
interesting.
Just like,
If they can create something viable that fans will launch, this is a tremendous thing. There's extra money in the sport. Like you're showing like a sophomoric understanding of economics, but
I'm not
this is
showing a
Robert. I'm
sophomore.
still
Weldon.
speaking, Robert. So like the athletes don't even know the details, but this amount of money, 100 grand plus salaries, like they're gonna get stars. There's no question. A lot of stars will do this. I mean, the question, Noah Lyles, someone like that. That's the level. It's like, well, I'm not taking a pay cut. The Diamond League's going to raise its game to try to get some of these guys. So it'll be interesting. Do you want to see the same 8 guys race? You want to have 8 guys racing 200, 400, the same 8 other guys racing 200, 100? Like, I'm not so sure. I don't want to see 3K,
Look,
5K, but as Emmanuel Hudson said, those are technical things that can be worked out.
Oh yeah, just
The
technical
big picture
things.
is someone's putting
3 days in a row. We have to go to a track meet. I don't go to 3 baseball games in a row. The fans aren't going to want to go. It's not going to be. It's just. I don't. I would much rather see them work with a Monaco, a Lausanne, and do that. If you're going to have 4 super diamond leagues, but now we're going to have World Indoors, 4 Grand Slams, World Outdoors, the World Athletics Final for 10 million as well. So we're now going to have 7 majors. Like no, I mean,
no, these aren't really majors. These are just going to be good early season meets or one-off meets sort of
the
deal.
format's terrible. Just put all the best guys in one event, then I'm gonna support it. If you have
That's what
$12
I
million,
said. That's what I want. I want 12 million. I just want some these are 4 mega diamond leagues essentially, but without. I'd rather have some. I'd rather
the
see
whole
Mondo. I'd
thing
rather
to
see the best
score it
compete in the
for
favorite
the
events.
best doublers, the best athletes. Absurd. I don't care if Ingebrigtsen gets smoked in 800. I'd like to see him run in 800 actually, but not 4 of them a year. And just because the front man for the thing is named Michael Johnson, who's the greatest combo sprinter of all time, he now thinks that everybody else has to prove they're a good track by being a combo sprinter. But whatever. Enough of that. Can we stop talking about this? Can we just sign off? Like, I don't know what we're waiting for. I wanted these shows to be 30 minutes. This one's an hour. I'm exhausted after 4 days of coverage.
We're hoping for Nia Akins.
Well, she won. I'm sure she's quite thrilled. So,
I mean, Nia went the other way, so it might be a while, but we can easily sign off here.
all right. Well, it's been an exciting
I mean,
first half of the trials. I'm trying to think what I'm most excited about the second half of the trials. I really want to see Arian Knighton in the men's 200. That's going to be huge for me. Grant Holloway in the 110 hurdles. Can he get the world record? Can he win? I mean, we talk about nightmare scenarios. We just saw with Athing Mu. If that guy hits a hurdle, the hurdles are always just one misstep away from being out. So that's kind of crazy. But, in terms of distance, I think that it kind of takes the edge off for me a little bit when people have already made a team in one event, 5,000. So I'll be excited for the women's 1,500, but Cranny and St. Pierre have already made the team. But Heather McLean's putting all over baskets in that's going to be exciting. Bryce Hoppel in the men's 800. Can Cohen do something in the 800? Can he be a Nick Simmons type? I want to see that. I think the men's 5,000 is going to be absolutely fascinating. Volby Mania in the 10. So a lot to look forward to. What are you and those people listening live? What are you most looking forward to for the second half?
I mean, the men's 5 for me, no questions asked. It's gonna be a fabulous race.
So the update of the men's steeple. Somebody wants to know. Yeah, I've already forgotten his name, but the BYU kid's going to go to Pin Relays. There's a summer series meet, and he's going to run it there. That track is not known for being that fast. The problem also is in Philadelphia. I hope this meets at night. When is it? Is it Saturday? I believe it's Saturday. And it's been hot as hell on the East Coast. So it's going to be high of 85, low of 66. Man, that's going to be just great drama. I'll be back in Baltimore by then. So if no one's streaming that thing live, I'll just drive up there with my phone. Evan Jager can give me a tip, watch it live. Kind of interesting. They have a bizarre steeple pit, yes. People are enjoying the show, even though we're just fighting, Weldon. I feel like we get talking about the same thing over and over. We talked about this Michael Johnson trichlete a couple weeks ago.
Well, giving insight from Emmanuel Hudson and Michael Norman. I mean, it's not the exact same thing.
But the thing is, why is it a grand slam? It's just like, oh, the sport's going to be popular because we'll get all the people to show up for the same 4 meets. Maybe. But there's no way it makes money unless they get a TV partner paying them money. So I don't understand. I'd love to have the founder of the league on here to see what he thinks.
Well, that's what everyone's saying. Like, I think Michael Norman might have been saying, maybe that was him before the money. He's like, well, I want to see. He was holding back, and then it's funny. He didn't know the 100 grand per meet, but he's like, that's got his attention. But he's like, wait, I just want to see about the viability of it. I think he might have been the one. Watch the interview on YouTube. He's like, I'm not sure it'll be around. I want to make sure they're going to be here beyond a year. And then I'm like, well, what about the money? Essentially, just saying like, show up. Just 12 billion is going to be dispersed to these athletes in 1 year. So why not just get a piece of that? It's not your concern if it doesn't work. Obviously, you want it to work, and you're going to try to help it. But and then he's like, well, but TV, it really depends on if they get a TV deal and stuff. It's not like the Diamond League's got some huge TV deal in the United States, but
Someone says One World
paying out this sort of money, and then Emmanuel Hudson's like, he's like, I mean, I love this sort of just pragmatism. He goes, you think an agent is going to criticize $12 million coming into the sport? Like, this is a good thing. We'll figure out how to work.
But I don't know. I don't think. Yeah. The one thing I would be for, it's like the World Marathon Majors, they're trying to expand. I'm like, you don't need to expand. You don't need more races. We need more races that are fun, big matchups. So I'm for that if we could get 4 big Diamond Leagues a year, but it's not 4 Grand Slams. People are still going to skip it for Worlds, etc. How was the Supporters Club meetup?
It was good.
Todd was there.
When
How did it compare to
first showed up,
Budapest?
to be honest, I was like, wow. Like, there was some guy older than me with his dad. I'm like, whoa, these guys are old. And then some younger people showed up. Good time. Met some people where I'm moving at the end of the year, end of the year, which I mean, keeping secret at this place.
How did it compare to the Budapest meetup?
I mean, Budapest was cooler because Niels Varos' parents showed up. Wait, how did Niels Varos do Euros? Did he run?
I don't know. Has my face been super bright the whole time? Is that better?
Yeah, it was too bright today, but whatever.
My camera fell off, so I was wondering that myself. I don't think he ran, did he?
Wasn't he supposed to at one point? But I mean, when you get we promoted the one Hungary more. We had a nice turnout, like 1 day promotion. I put a splash up at 1:00 today for local residents.
He did. So Niels Laros ran the 800 Euros.
Fortunately, I have less.
Went out in the first round, 146.62. Anyways, somebody's saying that they're going to make money by gambling, but if you want to make money by gambling on track, you don't need to pay $30 million to start the league. You can just
Well,
get a
no,
sports book.
money from gambling is the stupidest thing ever. They have gambling on the cornhole league. They don't. This isn't track and field. Isn't like horse racing where it's pari-mutuel, where a cut of the money that comes in goes to the league. The only way you would make money through gambling is if like FanDuel or somebody sponsored that. That's straight up advertising. Horse racing has legal protections where they get a cut of the money gambled on them. The NBA does not get a cut of the money. The NFL does not get a cut of the money outside of the sites structuring deals for maybe like instant data or advertising, more traditional advertising. So gambling is not the solution. Is not the way
Well,
that thing makes money.
I do think the way this league would make money is if they literally ended up sponsoring like all runners, paying all their salaries, and they got all the money. They would take over for World Athletics, except for Worlds and stuff like that. I just don't see it happening. All right, I'm gonna go. You guys.
And I mean, Tim Layden, one of the greatest writers out there, we're talking to him about it because he covers horse racing. And he's like, I go, horse racing. I was making an analogy that horse racing and track and field are the same. He goes, there's so many problems with horse racing. And I said, so it's the same thing with track. And he said, he goes, I was asking how long Let's Run's been here. And I was like, 24 years. He's like, the sport is the same as it was 24 years ago. The same issues and everything. And I sort of agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
We've spoken to everyone except for Nia Akins.
Nia Akins, we're waiting on, and Ellie St. Pierre, we were being told, has left Hayward Field. Apparently was not directed to the media after the award ceremony, so we'll have to wait until after the 1500 to get a chance to talk to the US 5K champion and one of the most thrilling finishes of the trials.
We want to know like is everyone going to double back?
St. Pierre said beforehand her plan is to run both events at the trials. I mean, we'll see if that's how it goes in Paris if she makes both. But I didn't confirm with Elise Cranny that she's doubling back in the 1500. But all indications from
100%.
prelims were that that's the plan. Yeah.
I mean, she's definitely doing it because she was talking about how her coach was essentially like, they're like, let's do what you enjoy at some point. I felt like there's a joy with her with the running. Carissa Swiger said she is running the 10.
Roger looks like some sort of supervillain here. Or, he's in the midst of a lair or something like that. I don't know. Just the lighting is very odd, Robert. Are you doing this from your car on vacation? Is that still the plan?
Yeah, but everyone liked the other camera, but my other camera, I don't know. I have 3 cameras. This laptop.
Where
I don't know.
is Nia Akins coming back, John?
We're told that Nia Akins will be coming at some point. She's not here.
What's
yet.
a better story? All in the game wants to know which is a better story: Quincy Wilson on the 4x4 or Noah Lyles. It drives me nuts. It's like when that, and I got to give Allison Felix credit because she didn't do it. I assume she would just run the mixed gender relay to get a gold at one of the final Worlds or Olympics she was at, and she didn't do it. Like, I don't like just manufacturing gold medals for people. So I would like to see Quincy Wilson run a prelim if he's still in good form. But Noah Lyles has done nothing to me to indicate that he deserves to be on a 400 leg.
Noah Lyles won't be on a 400 leg.
He hasn't shown anything. It's too big a risk to put him on. And Quincy Wilson is a 44-second 400-meter runner. When has Noah Lyles ever shown that? So I think the better story is probably Lyles if he's going for a quad of golds. Wilson getting on a 4x4. I mean, it's cool having a 16-year-old there, but I think like Lyles going for 4 golds in that quad has never been done. I think that's the biggest story, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, there's no way. Without him running a 400 before now in the Olympics, there's a 0%. Well,
in the amateur hour,
NBC rules, coaches would be foolish to put him on the team if he doesn't prove that he's faster than he showed indoors.
Yes, John is annoyed.
It's like, why go to meets anymore? Because you don't get to interview anybody.
Part of the deal is the athletes come talk to the media. So
it used to be a big deal.
And I don't blame her. I don't think she's skipping out. I think honestly, someone may have misdirected her, and I don't think she was just boycotting it.
Oh yeah. But we're responding to some of the comments saying, is John a little annoyed not talking to Ellie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not annoyed with her. He's more annoyed with the process that somehow they overlooked this.
I don't think they intended for her to skip it. But the U.S. national. This is why they should come through the mix zone before the award ceremony. But anyway, I digress. Okay, I think that's going to call it for Monday night in Eugene and the first half of the trials, unless, Robert, you got any final points?
I was thinking something about the media, but we haven't even been linking to the YouTube page on the homepage for some reason. Like, it used to be a special thing to get these interviews, and now it's like I've been watching some other sports here, like watch U.S. soccer and some Orioles games. I don't really care what people have to say after the meet. I'm just like, watch the game and that's it.
Well, that's why we try to give you some insight on the podcast. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of post-soccer interviews or even a lot of post-race running interviews unless someone tells me, hey, this is important, somebody said something. So
you should watch post-race Let'sRun.com YouTube videos.
And if you like this,
listeners,
remember, hit the like button right now on YouTube, everybody. 5, 4, 3,
Wait,
2.
Why don't we
1.
have that? Why aren't we linking to YouTube on the homepage? I realize there's something missing.
Our apologies. We've been 3 days of trials without a link to our YouTube channel.
Okay. All right. Good night, everyone on the East Coast. It's 12:23 on a Monday night. So get your sleep, and we'll see you back. I mean, maybe we'll have a podcast for you in the next couple of days, but if not, Thursday night from you.
What about the regular show? They went their free podcast, John. What day? We got to get.
I thought we just pumped this out as the free one. This is the free podcast, right, Weldon? Or
all right. So
the free podcast is the bonus one we can get maybe if we get our special guest.
Maybe I'll. Well, we should put the subscription. If you want daily podcasts from the rest of the trials, there's one way to get them from Let'sRun.com. Join the supporters club. Let'sRun.com/subscribe. You can use code Club25 to save 25%. Get an amazing soft t-shirt. And remember also, betterrunningshoes.com. Amazing deals in running shoes. You can see the best reviews in running shoes. Seriously, check it out. Give us a review today. Thank you, everybody. Signing off.
Good night, everyone.